This guy farms immortal ogres for points. A monster that no matter how many times you kill it, it will be resurrected again the next day, stronger and faster. Thanks to his skill, Decapitation, he drops them in one clean strike and treats the hunt like practice. With the points he earns, he blesses a withered tree into an emperor apple tree, and those apples sell for a crazy amount of money. But he wasn't always this strong. To understand the story better, let's go back to the very start. Earth was dying and lost every vitality it had to provide, and then a certain being revealed just what Earth needed. The Absolute being advised to dispatch to another world, and with this, dispatchers, who are now regarded as heroes, left the Earth for other worlds. From the other worlds, dispatchers are able to bring back new things that are essential for humanity's survival. Our MC, Chansu, is working a trash gardening job, but he wishes that he could become a dispatcher too. After the day's work, he heads to the dispatcher reunion center, where there is a bulk load of people trying to get information on their loved ones. He manages to get past all the other people who are there to reach the receptionist. The receptionist checks his log and realizes that Chansu doesn't have enough to pay for the investigation he is requesting. He tells him to come back when he finally has the required money. Chansu begs the man to at least give him some news, but he is pushed out of the way by the next customer. Chansu has no choice but to step away, and he walks back home decisively. Apparently, when he was little, his father was a top-ranked veteran also known as a returnee. They were always together, but when Earth's condition got worse, he was dispatched again. And since then, he hasn't seen his father again. After waiting for so long, his mother also went in search of her husband, but in the end, Chansu found himself all alone. He has grown so much that the memories he has with them have started to fade. He can't even picture their faces clearly anymore. Suddenly, a bright golden light hits the outside of his apartment, leaving a massive wave that sends him flying into the wall. He passes out cold, and when he wakes up, it's been hours. An emergency news alert popped up on his phone warning about the turbulence and flash caused by a returnee's re-entry. To make the situation worse, an S-rank returnee announces his retirement, shocking everyone. The S-rank dude talks about how he failed to protect the dispatchers who accompanied him. He also could not protect his god, and in the end, he returned alone, a failure. The dude says he can no longer dispatch because he has lost the ability and the qualification to do so. Apparently, the earthquake and the bright light were a result of his re-entry. With a broken voice, the dude announces his retirement, while asking everyone to do their best to protect Earth. This is basically bad news for everyone because Earth's population has grown below 500 million, making it hard to raise high-ranking dispatchers. Chansu cannot believe that the dude failed at his mission, and he is also retiring from it. Just then, he hears a knock on the door, and he wonders who it could be. He stands and he walks to the door, wondering why he is getting a visit because it is very unusual. He opens the door and hears a voice calling him, but he doesn't see anyone standing at the door. Just as he is about to start believing that he is going crazy, the voice directs him to look down. Chansu stares down to see a cute talking bunny holding a tablet device and staring at him. This scares Chansu so hard that he falls on his arse, but the rabbit simply continues with his business, asking him if he is Chansu. The rabbit then tells Chansu to calm his nerves because he brought wonderful news for him. The rabbit smiles, congratulating Chansu on becoming a dispatcher. Chansu is shocked to hear this, forcing him to ask the rabbit again if he knows what he is saying. The rabbit admits that Chansu is probably confused, but he assures him that it doesn't take away the fact that he has been chosen. Since Chansu is acting suspiciously, the rabbit suggests that they move to another location. As they walk through an unfamiliar hallway, the rabbit asks Chansu if he has any special skills, because most people have at least one. Chansu then replies that he is the highest in the Trash League, which is why he is not even qualified to be a dispatcher. However, he is pretty good at trimming trees or flowers. The rabbit is shocked to his bones when he hears this, and Chansu is also surprised that the dude approached him without knowing that he is worthless. The rabbit then calms himself down, saying there is always a reason for everything. He assures Chansu that he might be worthless, but it doesn't change the fact that he was chosen. Chansu is completely blown away because he never expected to find himself in the dispatch center, which means a chance has finally come for him. They arrive at a very large door, and the rabbit suggests that they go inside to continue their conversation. Before the rabbit could continue with what he was saying, Chansu had reached the door. He tries opening the giant door, but for obvious reasons, the door won't budge. This is when the rabbit disgustingly asks him what he is doing with the door. The rabbit says the entrance they are going to use is to his right. Chansu doesn't want to believe his eyes when he realizes that the rabbit is pointing to a very tiny door, which is a perfect size for the rabbit, not freaking humans. The rabbit says he has never had issues using the door, and Chansu is forced to remind him that he is a freaking rabbit. Believing that the rabbit is nuts, Chansu says he has to leave, and the rabbit asks him if he is sure he is making the right decision. The rabbit reminds him that he has failed every test that he has taken, but in the end, A rare opportunity has come knocking on his door. The rabbit asks him if he thinks an opportunity like this will ever come in his lifetime again. The rabbit tries to tell Chansu that he is not trying to coerce him because he is free to leave if that is what he really wants. After hearing this, Chansu has no choice but to crawl through the small passage to follow the rabbit to his bright, tidy office. This is shocking to Chansu because he was expecting a tiny office. The rabbit then tells him that there is a world that is suited just for him. Chansu is confused by this, asking if there is a different world that fits each person. The rabbit informs him that there is a world called block-type land grabbing, and it has an event in progress. Chansu's eyes light up in shock when he sees this, and the rabbit assumes that he knows about it, but Chansu says it is his first time hearing about it. The rabbit mentions that the world is the most sought after in recent days. Apparently, the world has the unique feature of receiving the divine protection of a god. Chansu becomes more interested when he hears this because the returner also made mention of a god. The rabbit notices the change in expression, and he assures him that choosing him has no connection to the recent event. Chansu then asks the rabbit what type of god he is talking about, and the rabbit mentions that gods are assigned on a random basis, but since Chansu is his favorite person, he might as well give him the chance to choose what god he wants. The rabbit then brings out 3 cards, asking Chansu if he is ready to choose. Chansu is confused by this because he doesn't even know which of the cards is good or bad. The rabbit reminds him that this opportunity might not come again, and Chansu agrees with him. Remembering his father, Chansu is pissed that he is even hesitating in the first place. Chansu then chooses his card, and a visual representation of the god appears right in front of him, shocking him. This scares the living daylight out of him, and when he stares at the card that he chose, he realizes that it is the god of negation, with a 44% rate. The rabbit urges him not to be a coward because everything he just saw is nothing but a dramatic effect. With his heart almost out of his body, Chansu is forced to ask just what kind of god would require an effect that almost sends him to the afterlife. In addition, Chansu doesn't think the god is the right choice for him because the name alone spells trouble. Chansu gets back on his feet and nervously asks the rabbit if there is a chance that he can draw the cards again. The rabbit assures him that he can, ultimately shocking him. Chansu quickly draws the card, and just like before, he pulls the god of negation again. Chansu is pissed, and he starts assuming that the draws are a scam because there is no way he is getting the same god every single time. The rabbit then tells him that there is nothing wrong with the cards. Chansu is surprised to see the rabbit change his expression, and then he tells him that he has just one last chance to draw a card. He urges Chansu to choose properly this time around. Chansu is frustrated, and he hopes to just pick anything, which is basically not the god of negation. He draws another card, and this time a bright green light appears, and Chansu's face brightens up with hope. This time around he pulled a card, which is the goddess of abundance, but it has a less than 1% probability. He is about to lose interest when he sees a visual representation of the goddess, and boy, she is freaking hot. Even the rabbit can see the practical imagination on Chansu's face. The rabbit smiles, asking Chansu if he would like another chance. This shocks Chansu because the dude literally just told him he was giving him the last chance. Chansu then asks the rabbit what would happen if he decides on the current card, and the rabbit lets him know that he would have to depart immediately. Chansu is shocked to hear this, and the rabbit asks him if there is any reason for him to hesitate. He tells Chansu that he has a rare chance to go from being a dispatcher to becoming a returner. The rabbit starts feeding his head with sweet imaginations of how people will celebrate him for being a hero. The rabbit tells him that being a dispatcher will give him a very good life, which is 10 times better than the one he is currently living. Chansu realizes that the rabbit is actually right because his life is basically worthless in the first place. He makes his decision, and the system informs him that he has been chosen to serve the goddess of abundance. The image of the goddess is shown to him, and it is just what he imagined in his head. Chansu smiles, believing that he would be able to do anything if he were with such a goddess. Chansu then asks the rabbit where he is supposed to go. The rabbit opens a portal, saying it is time for them to go. But just then, he pushes Chansu straight for the portal. Chansu fears, asking the rabbit if it is really safe for him to enter the portal. The rabbit teases him that the portal is beautiful, but to Chansu, he is staring at an obvious death trap. Nonetheless, he has no intentions of backing down, as he plans to become very successful to show his haters that they are trash. While he is busy thinking about how he is going to become successful, the rabbit pushes him into the portal. Just then, a voice scolds the rabbit for directly intervening in the matter when he knows that it is quite forbidden. The rabbit replies that they have no choice because Chansu is the only one who can help. While getting sucked into the portal, Chansu spots the loading screen, and a tip pops up, telling him the percentage signifies the size of the god's faction. This shocks Chansu to his bones because he thought the percentage was a probability, but it turned out to be something worse. Chansu finally makes it to his new world, with the pain that he is just learning about something so crucial. He looks around to see that everywhere is not far from a wasteland. In addition to the goddess not having a faction, he has found himself in a doomed land. Seeing this, tears fall out of his eyes, and he concludes that he is done for. Chonsu was expecting an abundant land, but everything he is staring at is nothing but a wasteland. The system window pops up again, welcoming Chonsu to the world of digging. It tells Chonsu that he is the apostle of the goddess, and he is required to secure as many land rights as possible through digging. Before he starts doing anything, he thinks of looking around first. He figures out that he needs to find the goddess, and he suddenly runs into an old, shabby sickle. He wonders if someone used it and then threw it away. Since he is a gardener, the sickle matches his hand really perfectly. Suddenly he feels an overwhelming presence behind him, and fear grips him that a monster is about to consume him. Fear creeps through his body when he realizes that he hasn't even met the goddess yet, and a monster is about to make a meal of him. Chonsu concludes that death is the last thing he wants at the moment. He decides to threaten the monster by swinging his sickle. He turns around and swings it really hard, only for him to see that there is no monster but a cute hamster staring at him. Chonsu crouches to stare at the hamster, and he can clearly see that it doesn't harbor any sense of hostility toward him. Suddenly, it crosses his mind that he might get a bonus for taking out the hamster, and the hamster screams out its lungs in fear. Chonsu smiles, because he has successfully messed with the hamster. He decides to let it live as long as it doesn't cause him any problems. Suddenly, the hamster turns around to leave. The hamster stops at a distance, beckoning Chonsu to follow him. Chonsu then runs after the hamster, which is pretty fast for its size. Chonsu wonders where they are going until they reach a stream, where Chonsu wastes no time fetching water into his bottle to drink. He feels very refreshed, and he asks the hamster if he knows where the goddess is staying. The hamster tries responding to him, but their communication technique differs from each other. The hamster continues moving again, and Chonsu follows it, waiting to see where the hamster is leading him. Moments later, they arrive at a huge tree that has dried up like the trees on Earth. Chonsu steps on a whittled ginseng, shocking him. He wonders what a ginseng is doing in such a shabby place, but the hamster suddenly grabs the ginseng away from Chonsu. Chonsu is confused as he believes that the ginseng is for the hamster. Just then, the notification comes on, telling Chonsu that he has discovered the goddess. Chonsu believes that the system is glitching because he has not seen the goddess anywhere around. Chonsu is rambling about this when the hamster grabs his leg, and he assumes that the hamster is messing with him. He grabs the hamster, telling it that he is busy and not ready to play. However, the hamster's expression tells Chonsu something important that he has been missing. In the most unexpected surprise, the wilted ginseng is the freaking goddess. Chonsu doesn't want to believe this, because the goddess he saw was pretty bountiful, and there is no way she has shriveled into an ugly ginseng root. Since he is not ready to believe his eyes, the hamster brings out a magnifying glass for him to look through, and this is when he finally accepts reality. He holds his head in pain because the land grabbing and the percentage that he saw was nothing but a foreshadowing of his future situation. Chonsu remembers that the numbers were going up when he was drawing the cards, and this basically means the god's influence was growing then. Chonsu cannot believe that the god of negation was actually a good card, and it was hard to believe since it was coming up pretty often. Chonsu wonders if the goddess shriveled away because her influence went down completely. Chonsu stares at the goddess, wondering why she is not waking up. He starts to fear that he has completely killed the goddess when he steps on her, but the hamster just stares at him like some really dumb dude. It then dawns on Chonsu that he might get the goddess to wake up if he gives her some water. He pours water on her, and surprisingly, a bright green effect emerges from the ginseng's body. This tells Chonsu